Hello guys, KP Shamino here with a new video for Path of Exile 2. And I'm going to give you guys my build at level 54. I'm now in Cruel Act 2 and I think the build is now on point that I can make a video. So a lot of people saw my first video that was at level 20. And now I'm going to show you guys this build. So what is this build? This build is Boneshatter. Is Armor Breaker 2. Is going to do a lot of AoE with Shockwave. And is going to use heavy stuns. So it's a very complex build, but I'm trying in this video to explain it to you guys as good as I can. Because it's a very strong build too. So I didn't have a lot of problem in Cruel. Once that this picks up, you are good to go. There are some flaws in the build. That's not my problem. That's a mechanic that is bad executed in this game. It has to do with stun, but that's something for later. So I'm going to start with the skills. Then I'm going to show you guys the skill tree. Then I'm going to show you guys the gear that you need to have. And then I'm going to clear a little bit, and at the end I'm going to show you guys how we can do Act 1, the end boss on Cruel. So let's get started, because this is the most important, because it's not that simple. So you guys can see it took me a lot of time. On bosses you need to switch sometimes around with leap slam and all that stuff. So I'm going to give you guys just the basics. So Boneshatter. So this is Boneshatter. We are not going to use that much Boneshatter, but if we use it, we have it stun an enemy. The Shockwave will explode, and that's not all. We will break the armor totally of that enemy. So you can see it here. So Boneshatter got 3 supported links. That is break endurance, because we want to get some endurance charges too for Infernal Cry and for Seismic Cry. Is this needed? Not really. It's going to give you a little bit more single DPS and a lot more if that is needed, but you can replace that. Then the next one is Devastate. That's really cool. So this is going to break the total armor if you do a heavy slam, and this is going to give an endurance charge 20% if you break an armor. So this works together. And then the last one is of course Shockwave. This will do a lot of this will let the build clear very fast. So that are the 3 links. So what is Boneshatter? So Boneshatter attacks enemies with a melee strike. That's simple. The strike will cause a heavy stun on enemies that are primed for stun. And that's a tricky one. So what is primed for stun? So you guys can now see at the top left. So if you hit an enemy, you will see that. So if the enemy is here, maybe I can show you guys it. So I will show it really quick. That you know, because you need to understand that otherwise, and this is very difficult. So if you hit an enemy, you will see here, where my cursor is, you will see there is a bar, or the name and then a bar. And if you hit the enemy, you will see it here. So now the bar was full. So this is better. So now you can see the bar is almost full. And that's the stun bar, I call it. And what is primed for a stun? That means, so if that bar is for a normal enemy at 40%, and I do Boneshatter, on that moment I do a heavy stun. If I do a blue at 60% bar, I do a heavy stun with Boneshatter. If I use Boneshatter, it's heavy stun. And then a yellow is 70 and a unique is 80. That are the numbers. So it's very simple. You hit something, the bar is full, and the percentage that the bar is, depending on the rarity of the enemy, is going to allow you to use Boneshatter. And that's the heavy stun. But that's important that you understand that, because that's the core of the game. So if I'm on a yellow enemy and at 70% bar full on stun, I use this, I'm going to do a heavy stun, and a lot of stuff will activate. And one of them is the Shockwave. So that's just what you need to understand, and that's what they mean with primed. So I'm going to do the text away. But that's not all. Because what is the problem with Boneshatter is that Boneshatter cannot cause stun build up. So the bar is not going to fill if I use only Boneshatter. So I need to use another skill that is going to stun enemies. There are a couple of them. I use Sleep Slam, that's one of them. This is going to do. And on bosses or on packs I use Mace Strike. So Mace Strike is going to hit an enemy, going to let the bar run full on stun, but that's not all. These are the links. It's going to build up Rage, it's going to use Ruthless. Ruthless you need to have. You can see it here. So every 5th use of support attacks costs 500% more stun build up. So that's something that you got in Path of Exile, and you will see it in the build too. And you need to understand this too. What is stun build up? Very simple. You got the base, and the more percentage that you got, the more that you hit an enemy, the stun goes quicker up. Simply said. So you will see it, if Ruthless popped up, you will see the stun bar going, let's say, from 10 to 50% or something. So that's important. So you got the base stun, depends on DPS that you can do, and on this. The more stun build up, and therefore it's so good. Then the next one is Splinter, because this build is not only going to depend. I saw that stunning an enemy using a heavy stun was not enough damage. So I went with break armor system 2. What is that going to do? So you just break the armor and you can do on the enemy more DPS, because I saw that the build was lacking single target DPS. So that are the 3 ones. So that are the most important ones. Then for mobility, I'm using this one, but that's not all. And here is a problem. So what do you want to do? And you will see it, and what makes this build so good for clearing. So you Leap Slam on enemies. They got primed. Most of the time white enemies at 40%. You use Boneshatter with Shockwave and you destroy packs. But the problem is, if the Leap Slam is too high at the level, or you do too much DPS, you just stun the enemies and you cannot do anymore your heavy stun. Because the enemies are at 100% and the heavy stun is not possible anymore. And that's a problem. That's a very big problem. You cannot do a lot about it. The only thing that you can do is you need to get the lowest level Leap Slam possible. That's level 7. But how do you need to do that? So I know a lot of people are already further in the game and you cannot get it anymore. So you need to come to this area. I needed to do that. I needed to go back. So you go to Act 2 because the tier from the uncut gems depends on the level of the area. So you need to come to this area. Let me have a look that I can find it. If you go to Cat and you farm this boss, this area will drop an uncut gem tier 7. And on that moment you can engrave the Leap Slam. Don't level the Leap Slam up. Because you can see here that Leap Slam got more stun build up in it. Therefore it's giving too much stun. So keep it at level 7 and don't put damage modifiers support gems on it. So I got here Maim. That's just too slow. By the way, there is something very cool in this game. If you don't know what Maim is, push Alt, hover over it. That's something really cool. Maimed enemies suffer from 30% slower movement, speed, and 15% reduced evasion rating. For me, the evasion is not important because I got resilient techniques. But this is good. Maim. And then the next one, more area. The more area that you hit, the more you will have a chance to heavy stun and the more things will explode. So that was it. So that are the 3 most important things. Be sure that this stays at level 7. Don't level it up. You will thank me later. And then for the other gems. So you can see here Herald of Ash is very big. The moment that you got that, put it on. How do you do that? So Herald of Ash, you can see it here, is like... yeah, what is it, by the way? Is it an aura? A buff. Let's say a buff. It's a buff. So, but it's going to reserve Spirit. Spirit is something new in Path of Exile 2. I got here 60 at the bottom right. So you just need to put it on. The moment that you will find this, the packs will even explode more. Because this is going to do an explosion. So you jump in a pack, you prime them with your Leap Slam, you do Boneshatter, the Shockwaves explodes, and the Herald of S explodes. And everything is, bombing. So very important. Then Shockwave, you can use it too. I'm not using it that much, sometimes on bosses. These are the links. Overabundance, and then concentrated effect. And then Infernal Cry is one that is very important too. Infernal Cry is going to boost your DPS a lot on single target. So what is it going to do? You can see it here. So 22 increased power, that's not, empowers the next melee attack you perform plus an additional attack per endurance charge consumed. You guys still remember what I said to you guys here? Why I'm using here on Boneshatter this node, so this and this node, to get endurance charges, because I use them here. So it's going to empower a melee attack. Empowered attacks gain 25% of damage as fire damage per 5 power of enemies in range, up to 100%. So the more endurance charges you got, the more damage you will do. So it's an additional attack per endurance charge. So I got 3 at the moment. That means that you can empower, most of the time it's your main mace attack, with Infernal Cry. Here I put just this on, Anguinity, and this is just 30% quicker of cooldown. You need to take that, otherwise it's 7 seconds. This one is important too, Corrupted Cry, and then the last one is this one. So the skill that is empowered, so most of the time that's the mace skill or the Boneshatter, is going to do 15% more damage. Then the other one, I'm testing this at the moment too. This is good, but this is only going to work on your slam. So Seismic Cry is going to buff, is going to do 400% more stun build up, and is going to consume, I think, endurance charges once again. Empowers to the next melee slam attack you perform, plus an additional attack per endurance charges consumed. But you need to have a slam for that, and that's Leap Slam. So most of the time, because you need to jump on the bosses too. Leap Slam is a very good stun build up too. So you're not only using it in the packs, but you use it here too, and therefore I took it. And then the last one is this one. So if you got 60 Spirit, this is a very good buff too. It's called Overwhelming Presence, so you can already read it. Enemies in your presence have 20% reduced elemental ailment threshold. Enemies in your presence have 20% reduced stun threshold, so you can stun them faster. But once again, if you do maps and packs, don't put this on, because you got way too much stun. So that was it, guys. It's not that easy, but I hope that you understand it. So it's very, it's not very simple. So you stun an enemy, you prime it, you Boneshatter and all the other stuff, or you jump on his head. All the other stuff are buffing single target. Infernal Cry, and then Seismic Cry, and that's it. So be sure that you take it. And now I'm going to show you guys my talent tree. Okay, guys, the talent tree. So here it looks like this. So I started here. This is just melee damage. By the way, I'm a Titan, so what did I do? I took this, this, and this. Why this? Because this is big. My DPS went 33% up. Everything went 33% up. So, but at the start, if you got your first 2 Ascendancy, just take the HP. That's going to be the best what you can take. And if you got the 3rd and the 4th, just go to here. I don't know what I'm going to take for the next step. By the way, don't take this. So I'm going to talk about this too, because I know a lot of people are going to take that. So this looks really good. This you think by yourself, this is for the build that I'm showing you guys, but there is a very big problem with Crushing Blow. So I'm going to use Alt again. Crushing Blow causes a heavy stun on enemies that are primed for stun. That's cool. But the problem is that Crushing Blow is going to do that and not Boneshatter. So I can see this working, but if you take this, your Shockwave is not working anymore, because Crushing Blow is doing the heavy stun. So always remember that. So if you prime a white enemy at 40% and you use this, it's always going to do a heavy stun, but not anymore the Shockwave. Don't take it. I took it, and suddenly I didn't have anymore my Shockwave, and I thought by myself, fuck, what happened? And that's because of this. And that's what I think is a problem, but don't take it. I think it can be good, but I think probably later on in the game, and I need to find another AoE clearing for that, because I think this can be very good single target, but now at the moment don't take it. So just take those 4, and this is not really good too, because this is a slam. So just take this and take this. Leave this for later on. Maybe another build, but I'm not sure that it's going to work ever with Boneshatter. So you just come here, you take this one, then you take this one to get a little bit more defense, and you can see it's very good, the 50% more on the... So this was normally 10 increased melee damage, but because I took the Titan here, 50% increased effect on small passive skills, that's a lot. It's not going to do it with strength nodes, the attributes. It's not going to 7.5. That's not buffed. So then you come here and you will see I take this one, two-handed TPS, because I'm using a two-handed maul. So here you can see it's stunning again. Take these two, straight on. That's, yeah, easy 37 strength, why you would not do it. But I would first come to Resolute Techniques if you start this build. Resolute Techniques is going to let you not miss anymore, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. So take this one, take this node, extra life, and then you take this one, and this is important. So here is once again the stun built up, and here you can see recover 20% of life when you heavy stun a rare or a unique enemy. Then the next one, break 50% armor on heavy stunning an enemy. That's very big too, because we are going to break armor. Then this one is breaking armor again, and this one too, because I got it on my main skill too, and this is very big, because you got a lot of times, a lot of the uptime you will have fully broken armor, you just get 60% increased damage, then you come here for the aftershock on the slam and you come here. So 20 more damage against heavy stun once again. Then you just come here, you take this one, so if you heavy stun a rare or a unique enemy, you get the free endurance charges, then you can do your infernal cry and do more damage, and take this one too. I'm not sure about this one in the future, but that's a little bit what you need to do, guys. So this is, I will put a link, I think, to the talent tree too, and I will put it over there too. So that's the build. Now I'm going to show you guys the items that I'm using. Okay, the items. So I'm using a mace or a maul. Very simple. If you can update it, update it. What is important on a maul? Increased physical damage, add physical damage, and attack speed. Always the same. The more physical damage, the more damage. If you can get some leech on it, that would be rock, because today they buffed it, so that's really good. Helmet, just the same. Life. This is all the same, by the way. So always life, resistance capping. The further you go in cruel, the more that you need to come to this, all at 75%. Very important. A lot of armor is important too, because you need to go as soon as possible to 75% too on your armor. Or 70, I think it's in this game. So be sure that this is high, because armor is preventing melee damage, and the other ones is preventing elemental damage. So it's always the same. Get armor bases, I cannot say more about it. Iron rings are very good to boost your DPS. You can see it here. So you know what I'm going to do with this. So I'm just going to go slow over my items, that you guys can see it. By the way, on boots, movement speed, always a win. Here we go. And then for the charm, it depends what kind of content that you want to do. I did just the Endboss in Act 1, and I need to have cold damage. So that's it, guys. So now I'm going to show you guys the playstyle, just if you are doing campaign. If you don't need to do single bosses, I will show you guys that. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you guys some gameplay in the maps. So let's have a look. I told you guys that this was a good prime. Did you guys saw it? If packs are exploding, that means that there was a primed target. But you can sometimes see that the packs are just, or the enemies are just going on the ground. So here we can do this. Bang. Do you guys see? That's the Boneshatter. Here we go again, and that makes it strong. So if you got a problem, if you are somewhere in the game, and you got a problem that you stun too much, that's possible. You need to build a little bit of your build stun up percentage. Or you need to use level 7. But don't level it up, of course. So here you can see, this is an enemy, a rare one. Normally, you pop Infernal Cry for the extra damage and you destroy that one. So I will show you guys a little bit more. So no, this is not stunned. They are 100%. I cannot do my Boneshatter and Shockwave. So you need to find a little bit yourself what is good, where you are in the campaign. I don't think it will be a problem. This is good. No, it's not good. They were already 100% stunned. Yeah, that was a good one. So here we had the Shockwave. But the problem is, if it does not prime the target, yeah, you're a sitting duck, you know. These are rare ones, so you just need a Leap Slam on that moment. You cannot do a lot about this as a blue pack. So now we are going to the other side. So let's have a look over here. Yeah, I cannot prime those either. You can see the bar is totally full. My DPS is just too high for this area. So there are some guys, once again, I cannot... No. Yeah, no, they were primed. Did you guys saw it? So... No, not primed. And those guys you can prime. So here we go. The fat fellow, bang. That's the Shockwave and the Herald of Ash. So if you cannot prime them, yeah, of course, you just need to jump with your Leap Slam. On that moment, probably you can just one-shot or just... can we prime this? Yeah, here we go, nicely. If those big dudes, they got more armor, I think, and therefore... Or more stun resistance, and therefore I can just prime them. You can just hit them too. Here we go. This was an explosion again. But you need to get used a little bit to it. This problem you're probably not going to have at the start. At the start you will fly through the acts because, yeah, you just prime everything. Because first of all, you don't have the stun built up on the tree. And second of all, you don't have the DPS. I think this small fellow here too. So let's go a little bit further and then I'm going to show you guys single target. So those guys are good. Prime them, bang them. Here we go. It was not a lot because there were not a lot of enemies nearby. The more enemies that you got near. So here is another one, but I think this is a yellow one. So let's try to prime this one. Here we go, nicely. Did you guys saw it? Almost destroyed this one. Now you need to pop up Infernal Cry, Sesame Cry, and look at the damage now. This is pumped. Now it's off, and you can see that my damage is a lot slower and lower. So now I'm going to show you guys single target. I'm going to the end boss of Act 1 on Cruel, and then I'm going to talk a little bit how you need to do single target, because the playstyle is a little bit different than what I just showed you guys. Okay guys, I'm now at the boss of Cruel Act 1, the end boss, and the same at Act 1, the normal one. I just noticed something. Don't forget to pick up this, because I didn't do it. I just picked it up. So the mini boss before the end boss, you will get a permanent buff that is plus 8% life. So take it. I totally forgot about it, yeah, because I played this game the first time. So what do you need to do? So one thing that I did, I'm now using my highest level Leap Slam. Now there is no reason why you would use the level 7. just get the same things on it with Fist of War, because now you need to do the most damage, the most stun, because it's a boss. Here it does not matter, because you cannot stun him totally with one hit. So you just hit him, and now you can see the stun bar really good. So if the stun bar is at 80%, we are going to do Boneshatter. One more hit, stun, here we go. And he's slaying now. Now we do Infernal Cry, and now you need to see his HP. He's melting. That's why it's so good. No armor anymore. He's laying on the ground. We pop Infernal Cry that it buffs, empowers our attack. And that's what you need to do. You need to practice that a little. Here we go again. So now I was too late. Because he was stunned. I didn't do Boneshatter because I was too late. I did too much stun. What is he doing, by the way? Okay. Here we go again. Yeah, I need to watch this. On the ground. Infernal Cry. Bang. I'm not sure that I did Infernal Cry. We got 2 Endurance Charges now. Because, yeah, if you use Boneshatter, you break his armor on a heavy stun. Totally, and then you get 20% chance to get an Endurance Charge. This one is, by the way, just to refill your flask. You can be a pro and try to dodge the boss here, but yeah, it's not really that needed. And by the way, I'm only level 55 at the moment. This is a 51 area on Cruel, so it's not that I'm showing you guys this with a level 80 guy. You can put your totem out too, so here we go again. So let's try him to stun again. Yeah, I need to watch this because this... Now, bang, here we go. Now melt his HP. Let's do Infernal Cry too. Was a little bit too late. But you can see Infernal Cry with the other Cry. It's going really well. And the stunning goes really quick too. Another stun, bang, now Infernal Cry, and here we go. Melt each HP again. And now I need to watch it because he's going to do the red shit. Oh no. Can we get one more stun? Boss. Going to get a little bit HP because he's in the end now. And this stuff is hitting a lot. Yeah, here is the other phase. Let's get the HP back, or my life flask back, refill it. Because he's now doing the red stuff too in this phase. And that's hitting very hard. I'm not sure what it is. A kind of bleed, I think. Okay, here we go. Infernal Cry again, and let's kill him. Come on, game. Yeah, he's stunned. Okay, here we go. So you can see it's decent. It's decent on single target too. So I'm going to work a little bit more on the build, clear everything and go mapping. And if the build is still viable in mapping, what I think it will go work better in mapping, because I don't think in mapping that you can overstun that many enemies with Leap Slam. So I hope it picks back up if I go to maps. But that was for the build, guys. A long video. It's not a simple build to explain. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have fun. Bye bye.